Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name is Tyler Grant, and I'm probably the only guy in suburban Milwaukee who likes his own house more than the clubs on Friday nights. At 38, I've got a decent IT job, a 13-year-old son named Max who's smarter than me, and a wife who thinks marriage is just a pit stop between parties. Kayla stumbled through our front door at 3 a.m. again, reeking of tequila and someone else's cologne. Her lipstick was smeared, her dress wrinkled, and she had that guilty look that screamed, "I've been doing things wives shouldn't do." "How was girls' night?" I asked from the kitchen, stirring my coffee. "Amazing," she slurred, kicking off her heels. "Bree, Simone, and Lexi, say hi." Right, the holy trinity of enablers. Bree was the gossip queen who lived for drama. Simone was the ringleader who orchestrated every bad decision. Lexi was the snarky one who made cutting remarks seem like friendship advice. "Funny thing," I said, scrolling through my phone. "Bree posted on Instagram 2 hours ago. She was at home watching Netflix with her kids." Kayla froze. Maybe she posted it earlier. "The timestamp says 11:30 p.m. You left at 8, remember?" She rolled her eyes. "God, Tyler, you're so paranoid. Can't a woman have fun without her husband stalking her social media?" Fun. That's what she called sneaking around with Derek Stein, the muscle-bound gym owner who flexed his way into my wife's DMs 6 months ago. I'd seen the texts, the late-night training sessions, the way she suddenly cared about her abs after 15 years of marriage. Max appeared in the doorway, rubbing his eyes. "Mom, you okay?" "I'm fine, baby," Kayla cooed, suddenly the perfect mother. "Mommy just had a little too much wine with her friends." Max looked at me with those knowing eyes. Kids see everything, even when adults think they're being sneaky. After Kayla stumbled upstairs, Max sat beside me. "Dad, why does Mom lie about where she goes?" "Smart kid. Too smart." "Sometimes adults make complicated choices, buddy." "Is she cheating on you?" The question hit like a punch to the gut. "What makes you ask that?" "I heard her on the phone yesterday. She was talking to someone about meeting at a hotel. She said she loved them." My coffee suddenly tasted like ash. "Go to bed, Max. We'll talk tomorrow." But I knew we wouldn't, because tomorrow I was going to get proof. The next morning, Kayla was all smiles and apologies. "I'm sorry about last night, honey. The girls and I got carried away celebrating Simone's promotion." Simone worked at a dental office. "What promotion? Floss coordinator?" My phone buzzed. A text from Kayla. "Going out with the girls again tonight. Don't wait up." I replied, "Have fun." But I had other plans. I always wanted to be a private investigator. Too bad my disguise was a Target hoodie, and my surveillance vehicle was a Honda Civic with a broken muffler. Following Kayla to Platinum, the downtown club where desperate housewives went to pretend they were 25, I felt like a discount Sam Spade. But when I saw her in Derek's arms on the dance floor, grinding against him like they were auditioning for a music video, my amateur detective work paid off. I snapped photos through the window, Kayla's hands in Derek's hair, his mouth on her neck, her friends cheering them on like it was some kind of victory celebration. Derek was everything I wasn't. 6'2", biceps like bowling balls, the kind of tan that screamed, "I spend more on protein powder than most people spend on groceries." He owned Apex Fitness, where married women went to work on their core strength and ended up working on their extramarital activities. I recorded him bragging to his buddies at the bar. "Married chicks are the best, man. They're grateful for the attention, and they never expect you to commit. This one's husband is some computer nerd who probably hasn't seen his own abs since high school." Charming. When Kayla stumbled home at 4 a.m., I was waiting in the kitchen with my evidence folder. "We need to talk," I said. She blinked at me, swaying slightly. "About what?" I slid a photo across the table. Kayla and Derek, mid-kiss, her wedding ring clearly visible. Her face went white, then red, then defiant. You followed me? You lied to me, again. It's not what it looks like. It looks like my wife is cheating on me with a steroid-addicted gym rat. Kayla's mask slipped. The sweet, apologetic wife disappeared, replaced by someone I barely recognized. Maybe if you paid attention to me instead of your computers and your boring job, I wouldn't need to find excitement elsewhere. So this is my fault? You're damn right it is. When's the last time you took me dancing? When's the last time you made me feel beautiful? Derek makes me feel alive. Derek makes you feel like a conquest. She laughed bitterly. At least he makes me feel something. The word stung because part of me wondered if she was right. Had I become so comfortable in our routine that I'd forgotten to be a husband? Then my phone buzzed. A DM from Bree. Tyler, we need to talk. Kayla's been lying to you about more than just Derek. Then Simone. She's been using us as alibis for months. We had no idea until tonight. Then Lexi. Your wife is trash, and we're done covering for her. I showed Kayla the messages. Her face crumbled. They're lying, she whispered. Everyone's lying except you. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. I'm staying at Derek's tonight. Don't bother coming back. But she was already gone. Kayla's former friends became my greatest allies. Turns out, loyalty among party girls is about as reliable as a chocolate teapot. Bree sent me screenshots of Kayla's texts, bragging about her affair. Tyler has no idea. He's so clueless, it's actually sad. Simone provided videos from their girls' trips, Kayla hooking up with random guys while claiming to miss her family. Lexi delivered the killing blow. She slept with my boyfriend last month, said it didn't count because they were both drunk. The betrayal ran deeper than I'd imagined. Kayla hadn't just cheated, she'd turned our marriage into a joke for her friends' entertainment. I filed for divorce first, moved our savings into a trust for Max, and changed the locks. When Kayla showed up demanding her stuff, I had everything packed and waiting on the porch. You can't do this, she screamed, pounding on the door. I live here too. Not anymore, I called through the window. Your boyfriend has a place. Derek arrived 20 minutes later, flexing his way out of a lifted truck like he was auditioning for an action movie. He strutted up to my door, all chest and swagger. Open up, man. We need to talk. I opened the door with a water bottle in hand. You're right, we do. Before he could react, I squeezed the bottle, soaking his designer workout clothes. Then I grabbed the container of pre-workout powder from Kayla's box and dumped it into his gym bag. Oops, I said. Looks like your supplements are ruined. Derek's face turned purple. You little... What? You gonna hit me? In front of all these witnesses? I gestured to the neighbors who'd gathered to watch the show. Real alpha move, tough guy. He stepped closer, trying to intimidate me with his size. This isn't over. I smiled. You're absolutely right. I handed him a note I'd prepared. Thanks for taking out my trash. She's your problem now. Derek crumpled the paper but took Kayla's boxes anyway. As they drove away, I heard him yelling at her about the pre-workout powder. Max watched from the upstairs window. When they were gone, he came downstairs. Dad, are you okay? I'm better than okay, buddy. I'm free. But Derek wasn't done with me. That night, he left a voicemail. You humiliated me in front of the whole neighborhood. Nobody disrespects Derek Stein and gets away with it. Bring it on, I thought. I was just getting started. The annual block party was my idea. For the kids, I told everyone. Max has been through a lot with the divorce. Let's give him something fun to focus on. The neighbors loved it. I hired a DJ, rented bounce houses, and invited everyone, including Kayla's former friends and, through a strategic accidental group text, Derek himself. The party was in full swing when Derek arrived, his truck rumbling like compensatory thunder. He'd brought Kayla, who looked uncomfortable but defiant in a dress that screamed, "Look what you lost." I waited until the crowd was at its peak, about 50 people, including half the neighborhood and most of the kids from Max's school. Hey everyone, I called out, grabbing the DJ's microphone. Before we start the games, I want to share something special. My buddy Derek here has some interesting thoughts about marriage and fidelity. Derek's eyes widened as the DJ played the audio I'd recorded at the club. Married chicks are the best, man. They're grateful for the attention, and they never expect you to commit. This one's husband is some computer nerd who probably hasn't seen his own abs since high school. The crowd went silent. Then the whispers started. Then came the slideshow. Photos of Kayla and Derek at the hotel, faces clearly visible, her wedding ring prominent in every shot. Kayla tried to run, but the crowd blocked her path. Everyone was staring, pointing, recording with their phones. Derek, red-faced with rage, charged toward me. "You son of a—" I'd been taking judo classes since the separation. When Derek lunged, I used his momentum against him, flipping him over my shoulder. He landed in the kiddie pool with a tremendous splash, soaking the nearby parents. The crowd erupted in laughter and applause. Someone shouted, "Do it again!" Derek struggled to his feet, dripping wet and humiliated. His carefully styled hair hung in his face, and his tight shirt clung to his body like a wet suit. "You're gonna pay for this," he sputtered. "Put it on my tab," I replied, handing him a pool noodle. "You might need this for the deep end." More laughter. Kids were pointing and giggling. Adults were recording everything for social media. Kayla's former friends gathered around her like vultures. "How could you do this to Tyler?" Bree demanded. "He's a good man." "And you slept with my boyfriend, too," Lexi added. "You're disgusting." Simone nodded. "We never want to see you again." Kayla looked around desperately, seeking an ally in the crowd. She found none. Even the neighbors who barely knew me were shaking their heads in disgust. "Max," she called out. "Come with Mommy. We're leaving." Max, who'd been watching from the porch, stepped closer to me. "I want to stay with Dad." "You don't have a choice," Kayla snapped, grabbing his arm. That's when Ron, my ex-cop buddy, intervened. "Ma'am, the boy said he wants to stay with his father. He's my son, too. And there's a custody order that says he lives here," I added, pulling out the paperwork. "You get supervised visits on weekends, after a drug test." Kayla's face went white. "Drug test?" "Cocaine's a hell of a drug," I said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "especially when you're doing it in hotel bathrooms with your boyfriend." The crowd gasped. Someone called the police. Derek grabbed Kayla's hand and pulled her toward his truck. "This isn't over," Kayla screamed as they drove away. But it was just beginning. 2 weeks later, during a thunderstorm that made the house shake, they came back. I was in my home office when the motion sensors triggered. Through the security cameras, I saw Derek's truck parked across the street, lights off. 2 figures were creeping around my backyard. I texted Ron. "They're here." His reply, "On my way." Max was at his friend's house for a sleepover, thank God. I activated every security measure I'd installed, floodlights, cameras, and the alarm system that would wake the entire neighborhood. Kayla and Derek broke in through the basement window, thinking they were being clever. They wanted my laptop, the trust documents, and anything else they could use against me in court. They didn't expect me to be waiting in the kitchen with a paintball gun. "Welcome home, honey," I said, as they crept up the basement stairs. "Miss me?" Derek charged first, all muscle and no brains. I tagged him center mass with 3 paintballs, bright pink splashes across his black shirt. He slipped on the marbles I'd scattered on the floor and went down hard. Kayla tried to run, but the zip ties I'd prepared worked perfectly. Within minutes, both intruders were secured and covered in paint. The neighbors were already gathering outside, drawn by the floodlights and commotion. Ron arrived with backup, 2 of his former police buddies who were very interested in the breaking and entering charges. "You can't do this to us," Kayla sobbed. "I'm Max's mother." "You're a criminal," I replied, "and a terrible mother." Derek struggled against his restraints. "When I get out of here, you'll what? Break into another house? Steal more property? Face more felony charges?" The police arrived and sorted everything out quickly. Security footage showed the break-in clearly. Derek and Kayla were arrested on the spot. As they were led away in handcuffs, Kayla made one last desperate plea. "Tyler, please, I love you." This was all Derek's idea. I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in months. The woman I'd married was gone, replaced by someone selfish and desperate. "No," I said simply. "You don't." Derek's prized muscle truck was still parked across the street. While the police finished their paperwork, I walked over with a can of washable paint and a bag of feathers from an old pillow. The neighbors watched as I decorated Derek's truck like a parade float. Pink paint, white feathers, and a sign that read, "Cheater Mobile." When Derek saw his truck from the police car window, he screamed so loud the whole neighborhood heard him. The crowd cheered. Someone started a slow clap. Kids were laughing and pointing. Max came running from his friend's house, having heard the commotion. He looked at the painted truck, the arrested criminals, and the celebrating neighbors. "Dad, did you win?" I put my arm around my son's shoulders and smiled at the chaos we'd created together. Kayla was facing jail time. Derek was ruined socially and financially. My marriage was over, but my family was stronger than ever. Next time someone throws a party, Max, make sure they invite people who actually like them,